It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Fantha Tracks TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine, indeed. This is Good Morning Tatooine. We are back once again, recapping all the news. And on this week's show, we're doing a special look back at Celebration. As this is our first new show since Celebration, we want to make sure you guys are all fully aware of everything that was announced back then. So what will we be covering on the show? We'll be looking at the Andor trailer, the Willow trailer, the Mandalorian Season 3 was announced, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, a new show, was announced. We saw the first trailer for Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the new game. We've had some news regarding the next Star Wars film with Taika Waititi being confirmed as the next release. Young Jedi Adventures and Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation Special animations were announced. We've got a lot of news about Ahsoka, which has just started filming. And Tales of the Jedi and Star Wars Visions are going to be new animation coming later this year and next year from Disney Plus. And last but not least, The Bad Batch got a Season 2 trailer. So joining me this week, Mr. Paul Naylor. How are you?
Have you got an appointment, Bri?
I always have an appointment for Good Morning Tatooine.
In that case, we're on for a cracking evening. Hello, Bri. You all right, mate?
I'm really good, thank you. Anyone else got an appointment for today?
I think by appointment only, we should have with us Mr. Mark Newbold.
We do. Mr. Newbold, how are you?
I've got an appointment. Wow, I'm finally in the good club. Thank you. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. How are you guys?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
So you guys were both at Star Wars Celebration. Mr. Naylor, you had a special role at the event. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, because I had a slight striking resemblance to the administrator from Mokshay's mayoral office, then I had to get dressed up as this.
Let's see it in all its glory again. There we go.
It created quite a bit of fun along the way. I ended up not being in charge of the bash. That'd be a bit big-headed. I was involved with the bash in such a way that when people were queuing up with their wristbands, I was checking them for blasters, lightsabers, rocks, and sand. But basically, I had a bit of fun with that. But the first person that actually clapped eyes on me was the best friend of Galen Howard, who plays the character, so it was bizarre. So he sent a picture to Galen, and as people have probably seen on Facebook, he's been sort of like really, really getting behind that, so that was cool. So I appreciate all these comments. So it was really good. And as soon as I could ditch the moustache, which I think was Saturday, I did. But for one night only, it's back.
It's real. Mr. Newbold, you also had an official capacity at Celebration as well.
Yeah, the podcast stage again, which went well. Thankfully, I didn't need Paula to look after everybody coming in. Everybody had an appointment, which was good, and most of them turned up for it. It was a good show. Lots going on. Didn't see as many panels as I would have liked, because that's just the nature of Celebration. We're running around like headless chickens trying to cover everything and get to everything. But it was good fun. And it's, apart from the fact that we all had a laugh, the guys that were there, you're seeing faces and friends that you haven't seen for a few years because of everything that's been going on. So it was a good one.
Yeah.
So,
that's my favourite.
Yeah. I think it's probably a good idea because there's so much news to cover that we get stuck straight into it. So first off the batch, day one, Star Wars Andor. So its first trailer released. Andor, new series coming to Disney Plus, and we've got a release date as well. It's going to launch 31st of August 2022. Guys, your initial thoughts?
Go for it, Mark.
Oh, my initial thought is, isn't it amazing? Apart from in the case of Paul Naylor, how taking a moustache off can knock 10 years off you. You're the exception, mate. You're the exception. I just couldn't believe how. Thanks. I couldn't believe how young he looked. It really caught me out. But just the tone of it, the vibe and the feel of it, it's totally in that wheelhouse, obviously, of Rogue One. It's very much gone for that aesthetic and the whole look of it. Because Rogue One is quite unique. It's got its own feel. Even though it's, as we know, obviously bumper to bumper with A New Hope, Rogue One has definitely got its own vibe and style. And they've tried to replicate that as much as they can here by intent, and it's worked. So I am very much looking forward to this. August needs to hurry up.
Let's throw up the trailer whilst we talk about it. Paul, did you get a chance to see the panel? Yeah. Did you get a chance to see the panel in person, or did you watch the trailer after?
I did. I didn't have a pass, but I had what's known as a Kev. And if anybody knows about a Kev, then you can get anywhere. But yes, I got to see the panel. This bit, when he's ringing the gong or the bell, whatever you want to call it, I love that bit. But the whole vibe for this, like Mark says, this looks really, really cool. I mean, and did you spot that one actor there? That's the guy. That's Christopher Fairbanks, is it? Out of Avid's Own Pet. He's in Andor, so that's pretty cool. I just like the whole tone of it. I'm a big fan of Rogue One anyway. I would say if push comes to push, I would say Rogue One's my favourite Star Wars film. So looking forward to this more than any other Star Wars property that's out there at the moment. It was good to see all the cast in the room as well. And Diego was really, really loving it. He was buzzing off the reaction from the crowd. And I've just got good feelings about this, definitely.
I would say the one downside was, as a member of the fat Star Wars community, they fat shamed us.
I love the thought that the fat Star Wars community is a thing.
Yes, I lead it.
I love it.
I often wonder, this is the first time saw Scotland in live action Star Wars without it just being a background. And for me, it kind of pulled me out of the trailer a little bit because it was so obviously Scotland that it was kind of weird because I guess it didn't feel like an alien world, and it kind of pulled you back to here. It was like yeah, that's just Scottish Hills. And I guess people maybe encounter that the other TV stations.
Can I just say, Brian, to anybody outside of Scotland, it couldn't be more alien. Just saying.
But that pulled me out of it. Other than that, I kind of really dug the trailer. It kind of had like a sinister kind of vibe going on there.
It's almost got a Planet of the Apes feel to it. I was getting Planet of the Apes vibe when you saw they all commit tatty, don't they? The people that are at the beginning of the trailer.
So for the part of Scotland, is that what you're trying to say there?
Yeah, where's the costume department? We don't need a costume department. Just wear your best Umbro kit.
On top of Andor, Lucasfilm also released another trailer that morning, which was Willow, which kind of got quite a big buzz online. And let's throw up that trailer as well whilst we're talking. Unexpectedly, it became quite a big hit on factortracks.com that day. I don't know if it was because we were one of the few sites that actually reacted quickly to get that trailer up there or what. But it got a lot of clicks. A lot of people wanted to see it. And I kind of really dug it. I thought that it really played nicely to the original film.
Yeah. And having Joanne Whalley in there is a nice touch as well. I don't think anybody had heard about that. And Warwick just looks so on point for this. It's got a really good feel about it. I mean, the girls on Planet Leia talked about it in the latest episode and made the fair comment that, visually now, maybe the original doesn't hold up as well as it might have done. But these visuals look lush. I'm sensing a special edition of Willow at some point because this really does looks really tasty. I'm very much looking forward to this.
Yeah. I think the reason it probably did so well on Fantatrax is that people just love Warwick. It was such a shame he didn't have Star Wars Fan Fun Day, but we suspect it was either that they were trying to sort of protect him from any COVID that might have come along and stopped him from being there at Celebration. But it was quite clear when he came out onto the stage that he was loving actually being there as an actor rather than being there as a presenter. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think he loves hosting it, but he was there for a different reason this time, and I think he really dug that.
I think the one aspect that might play against it is it's going to release November 30th, which means it's going to be out after the new Game of Thrones series and out after the new Lord of the Rings series as well. So it's got huge competition in that sort of fantasy adventure genre to compete against.
Yeah, you think Disney Plus, this is Disney Plus's Netflix. Where's Game of Thrones going? That's a good point. Is that Sky Atlantic again?
Will be Sky Atlantic here, so it's an HBO in America.
Yeah, and obviously Prime has got Lord of the Rings. So, each of the big networks, or two of the big three, two of the big streamers certainly has got fantasy shows. But that's a very good point, actually. Yeah, if I think House of the Dragon comes first, doesn't it? If that comes out the gate hot, and then Lord of the Rings, from what we've seen, looks lush as anything. That's going to grab a lot of attention. So it's in a quite a tough spot, but good luck to him.
I'm guessing out of those three shows as well, Willow will probably be the one that's lightest in tone, I would imagine.
I think it's going to be the most family friendly, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think from a family point of view, that'll probably be the entry point for sort of fantasy.
Promoted right, it could do really well on Disney Plus because it's got that kind of ability to attract the whole sort of Disney audience and not just the sort of Star Wars people crossing over. Yeah,
good point.
Something that everyone is kind of more familiar on. Mandalorian is going to be coming back, season 3, not this year, as everyone was kind of hoping it's going to launch Christmas time. It's actually going to return February next year, and we also got the announcement that Katie Sackhoff will be back as Bo-Katan. Excited for Mando?
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of all the series that have been out there so far on Disney Plus, that's the one that's sort of like the benchmark for everything else. It would be a nice twist if in this, because it was alluded to in the Book of Boba Fett at the end that Boba was sick of being sort of like, the big boss on Tatooine, that he wants to get back to his bounty hunting ways. It'd be nice if Mandalorian, when he turned up in the Book of Boba Fett, there's no doubt about it, those were the 2 best episodes out of the 7. So it'd be nice if Boba Fett got that reciprocated and he ended up being some big badass in this season, somewhere along the line. That for me would put the cream on the cake and the ice and the cherry and all that. But definitely looking forward. Definitely looking forward to Mandalorian.
Flandalorian.
There's a lot of panels focused on Mandalorian at Celebration. I don't know if you guys managed to get along to any of them.
I was at the Lucasfilm one, so I did see Pedro come out and that first trailer, which was brilliant. Clearly, Katie Sackhoff's going to be in this one a lot. Going by the trailer anyway. So it's all going to be talking about. He's got to atone, hasn't he, for taking his mask off, taking the helmet off rather. So it's going to centre around Mandalorian folklore, which you guys are probably much more into than I am. I'm not. I'm not much into the literature side. So we saw a little bit of Mandalorian in the last season, and we saw the K2SO sort of series droids and the probe droids. So that was impressive enough. But if he does get to go back to Mandalore, and then we get all that sort of history dug up and done correctly, then I'm sure the fan base will lap that up. So I just think I think Andor is probably the one I'm most looking forward to. But then after that, I just hope they don't screw up what's so far been a great storyline for the Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a risk, isn't it? Because they're sort of 2 for 2 with Mando. Yeah. There's not hardly any clunkers in those 16 chapters so far. So, and obviously you've had Book of Boba, which had a mixed reaction. Now Kenobi's doing great business, and people seem to be responding to it pretty well. So, I guess, and it's Star Wars. Star Wars has an inherent pressure, just because it's Star Wars. So, hopefully they've kept up that consistency and continued sort of that high level.
Yeah.
Next story. Star Wars Skeleton Crews, an all-new show. Also announced it's going to star Jude Law, and it's going to come next year. John Watts and Christopher Ford, who were behind Spider-Man Homecoming, are the guys leading this one, with Filoni and Favreau executive producing. This one, not a surprise if you follow the rumours, because there'd been a rumour of Jude Law being attached to a Star Wars project, and a project under the name Grammar Rodeo was also kind of out there. You guys, from what little we know of this, are you excited to see this come to Disney Plus?
Yeah, I think this could be interesting. This one, couldn't it? I think, because they're going for that sort of that ambling mid-80s vibe as well. That's that young kids in peril Goonies vibe. I think if they can transpose that onto Star Wars in an effective way, then I think that could be something quite new. As long as they don't try and do the Goonies, because that's a unique thing set in a decades ago. It's its own style and such. But if they can get that vibe over to Star Wars, and to say Jude Law, I mean, he's worked with Spielberg, he's been in the Harry Potter Wizarding World, he's done a lot of good stuff. So solid hand was in Captain Marvel, so a solid hand to have involved. So I think it's a good move.
Goonies never die.
So I was in the room then when that was announced, and they came out, the two guys, and they started talking about the fact that it was going to be the first kids Star Wars TV show. That's how they promoted it. And I would say of all the announcements that were made during that Lucasfilm panel, it got the weakest response, which didn't bode very well for it. But I really don't think they should have announced it as being a kids show. Not when most of the fan base that was sat there were like us. Yeah. 40 plus sort of, Star Wars fans.
It's a tough one though, isn't it, Paul? Because one of the criticisms at the moment of Kenobi is that, it's not really aimed at the new fans, is it? It's not aimed at the kids because it's old lore that we're filling gaps in. Yeah. So I suppose Lucasfilm and Star Wars creatives in general are kind of caught between two stools. So I do feel for them in that respect.
Yeah, I'm open-minded about the show myself, but it's just it's just something that I spotted when it was announced. It did get a very lukewarm reception. Jude Law, I think, will be good in anything. Well, he's good in anything he does, so I'm sure he'll be great in this.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though, Mark. I think it is in danger of going down the Goonies route, which it could be a bit too goofy. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. But
he does look a bit like Sloth, doesn't he, Jude Law?
Oh yeah,
he's the image of him, isn't he?
Yeah, let's bring it back to us having just called Jude Law Sloth.
If it does turn out to be like the Goonies, let's get some "Hey You Guys" t-shirts with Jude Law on.
Yeah, so that pretty much covered a lot of what was announced day one, and it was pretty wide. I guess a wide range of content, kind of maybe along the lines of what people kind of expected. As we headed into day two of celebration, we got a little change of tact, and we got some gaming news. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, sequel to Fallen Order, was announced, and we got a trailer as well, so we can check that out if I can find it. Here we go. Not inappropriate for children, so there you go. You've been warned. People are going to be pretty excited for that because the first game did incredibly well, and we've seen a lot of the content from the game eke its way into Disney Plus shows, most notably recent episodes of Kenobi.
Yeah, they do seem to want to overlap into, and it's sensible, to overlap into the gaming realm. But it does feel like they're really pushing to make these sort of separate, areas of Star Wars one, which I think is very wise, because I'm sure Fallen Order probably cost as much to make, well, I'm certain it did, as any of the films they've made, and probably has made as much money for them as well. It's just not as high profile in that sense. But there were rumours of this the week before Celebration, so it wasn't entirely unexpected. But not having played Fallen Order an awful lot, just had a dabble at it. I did enjoy it very much, and it's got a vociferous fan base, certainly on social media. So this will, I would imagine, have gone down very, very well.
Yeah, my son's got this game. He won't let me play it. I've asked him loads of times. Go on, then give it a go. No. Fair enough. But yeah, I am aware of Cal Kestis and is it what's the droid called? BDT?
BD1, I think.
BD1, yeah. And that droid or one similar to it obviously turned up in the Book of Boba Fett, so that was quite cool. And there's been lots of calls for getting Cal Kestis to sort of end up in live action, which I'm sure at some point he probably will. But yeah, you're right, Mark. I mean, the amount of money that's spent on the gaming industry now and the revenue generated from it, it's as big, if not bigger, than the movie and TV industry anyway. So keeping it separate as another stream, I suppose, in a way, does make some sense because if you cock everything up, you've cocked everything up. If you keep it separate, that's going well, and the other one isn't. At least that one's still safe. There is a danger of blurring the lines too much and putting everything into one basket, isn't there? So,
it's due to arrive in 2023, but with it being a game, that probably means 2025. Along the sidelines of Celebration, there's always interviews with the major players. Kathleen Kennedy did quite a number of interviews, and one of them with Total Film raised quite an interesting kind of comment as to what the next Star Wars movie would be, because that was kind of something missing from the Lucasfilm showcase, was the mention of films. And they came out and straight asked her if Taika Waititi would be the next Star Wars film, and she said that's correct. Asked if that would be 2023, she said, well, not 2023, but late 2023. So that's as clear as mud. And following that, we asked in the December 2023 release date, and she just said we haven't locked anything in. Your thoughts on that? Confusing?
A little bit, yeah. I think he spoke to Deadline. I think we've just posted it on the site this evening and said he's working. He's working on the storyline. He's still breaking down the plot. So I think a December 23rd, 2023 release, which incidentally is the same day as the next Star Trek movie, if rumours are to be confirmed. I don't see that happening. I think you can step that back comfortably a year, but that's fine. And he's very keen and cautious to make sure that it has that Star Wars feel and that Star Wars vibe. Well, he did at least one episode of Mandalorian. I think he might have done two, if I remember, but certainly one. And that was as on point as you could ever hope for a Star Wars thing to be. So I've got every confidence that he'll do a great job.
He's busy getting married in the short term, is he not?
Rita Ora, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Scumbag that he is.
I'm hoping for IG-11, the movie. So there you go. But no, I think he's got a really good sort of sensibility about himself in terms of he's very much got in mind what the fans want. He's Favreau and Filoni, isn't he? He's that kind of quality. So I'm hoping that whatever he comes up with will be great. Will it be the end of 2023? I'm thinking more likely May 24. I just don't think, we've not heard anything at this stage. I'd have thought we'd have heard something by now, more concrete. So yeah, it's going to be May 24.
One of the strange announcements at Celebration, or at least I thought the way it was handled was kind of strange, was on the live stage, so out on the show floor, they kind of announced Young Jedi Adventures, so like a new animation series, and coming spring 23. Your thoughts on that?
I'm really pleased they're finally stepping into the High Republic era with animation, because it feels like it will suit animation well, because they've made such a concerted effort to do the adult novels, the sort of the teen novels, and the kids books as well. So to sort of hit all those points is great. Excuse me. We've got the Acolyte coming at some point, somewhere down the line, which is the back end of the High Republic. But I'm guessing this will present us with characters that readers of the High Republic are going to be familiar with. And bearing in mind, we've got visuals of the High Republic in the comics as well, so there's things to draw from. Yeah, it was a weird place to announce it, but I know all of the Project Luminous authors were there at the show. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I quite enjoy the High Republic. You know, it's only really just getting started, so it's the right time to do it, I would say.
I've not really got into the High Republic at all. I don't know any of the characters, any of the scenarios, so I can't really comment too much on this. But I take it this is aimed at a younger audience.
Preschoolers, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is this where we've got all those recent sort of plush toys come through? There's like a Rodian and
No, slightly separate from that. That was Galactic Pals.
Right.
So, but I think this is going to be along that lines, I guess.
Yeah.
Feels like
so
it.
I mean, you know, the great thing that has become obvious the more celebrations that I've done is the people that you get to become friends with. Their Star Wars journey has been at a totally different time from us. And so it's been different things that have got them involved with Star Wars. Some have come in because of Rebels, some because of the prequel trilogy, some even because of the sequel trilogy. So who knows? There could be some very very young preschoolers that get into this, and that's their starting point. So I'm not going to diss it, but it's something that I really don't know anything about.
Yeah. You guys have obviously just had a vacation. But if that wasn't enough for you.
Was that a vacation?
That wasn't enough for you. Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation is on the horizon.
We had Matt with us.
Coming, I think it was August 5th, there we go. New Lego Star Wars animation, always fun. Didn't really see anything beyond cover art for it. What, guys, would you like to see from the next Lego Star Wars? Because they've always got something fun thrown in there.
I want to see a Lego Chevy Chase.
Explain.
We're going down the National Lampoon's route, are we?
It's a vacation, isn't it? It's a vacation. You've got no Chevy in there. Little Lego Chevy Chase. Be great.
I finally twigged why the giveaway at the Lego panel, which went down very, very badly, was an inflatable beach ball.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Mr. Booker, the Lego Advent had sets from the special. That I didn't know.
Okay,
There you go.
cool.
Droids and Vader
There was a
and
little
Christmas
shot.
jumpers in August.
There you go. Yeah, there is a shot out there of Vader
Vader
in like
Sandcastle.
a.
Doesn't like
There you go.
sand. That's evil.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be
Terrible.
great fun. I mean, the last one was really good. And I take it we got the same actress voicing Rey because she was spot on. She sounded just like
Oh,
Daisy.
she was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'll be good.
Another announcement everyone was kind of expecting because they kind of leaked it with the Christmas present last year. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi had its own panel. It's going to be coming out fall 2022. It's going to be animation. It's going to focus on Ahsoka Tano and Count Dooku. And Liam Neeson, who doesn't do TV, as he
That's
said
right.
that week, will also return to do the voice of Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn.
I'm looking forward to this. I think this could be really, really quite impressive. They've shown a few little clipettes, small clips of this, and the animation looks nice. I'm all in. I think going back to that prequel era again, which is really front and center of all Star Wars right now, and good luck to it because of Kenobi, obviously, primarily, and Bad Batch playing off the back of it. But I think this could be really fun. And apparently, Liam's son is also voicing a young Qui-Gon Jinn. So there's a good mix of things there. So looking forward to that.
I think the thing that's most promising because of all of this is that although Liam has said that he wouldn't do any TV work, is he now therefore going to turn up in episodes 5 or 6 of Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
He's been calling out to him at least the last 2 or 3 episodes, so it would be great to see. Qui-Gon.
I really don't want him to be in it now because I kind of want to think of Obi-Wan's sitting in the desert for 20 years, calling out Qui-Gon, and I'm just ignoring him completely.
And to keep the canon correct, by the time we get to A New Hope, he's given up asking for Qui-Gon, which is why he never got mentioned.
You can then have a special edition of Return of the Jedi, where Obi-Wan just turns to Yoda and goes, "You know how you taught me how to speak to the dead people? I spent the last 30 years trying to speak to Qui-Gon." Never said anything.
Hung up.
Yoda just replies, Liam Neeson doesn't do TV.
Yeah.
There you go. That could be a thing. Liam could be Ben's older brother. Never know.
Hey, yeah.
Carrying on the theme of animation, because you know animation's my thing. It's been an animation heavy show.
You love animation. And droids.
Of all the celebrations for me to miss, this was the best one, wasn't it? Really, I picked well. I picked wisely. Star Wars Vision Season 2 is coming, and it's coming spring 2023. And we're going to get a whole host of global studios working on it, ranging from the UK to Japan to Chile, Spain, Ireland, South Africa. So a whole different kind of art style is going to be introduced, storytelling. Everyone kind of really dug the first season, I think, without anyone getting too heavily necessarily into any of the characters or storylines, but just all-round good fun. I think people are pretty excited to get more of this.
Go on, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, well, I really enjoyed the tone of the first couple of episodes. Some of them I thought were a bit hit and miss. But as an experiment, if you like, I thought it was a good idea. It was a great series. So more of it, yeah, great. I think there's comic books and all sorts of stuff coming out, tying in with it. I think I'm correct in saying
there is going to be a comic book, yeah.
Yeah. So some of those characters look familiar. Some of these sequels.
That is season 1 characters. I just pulled that art off of Google.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
don't connect that to season 2. I have no idea.
So it could be.
I think it's a great idea. It was a good launching point for some things. I think it gives people. Hello, David. It gives you a great opportunity to learn new things, visit new places, see new characters. Season 1 of Visions really did, like you say, get a lot of people talking. And yeah, I'm all up for it. And changing the animation style as well, you know, giving us something slightly different from different parts of the world. That's a smart move, because I think the assumption would have been that they would have gone back to purely Japanese animation houses because it worked so well in season 1. But to do this, now it's got, you know, you watch Love, Death and Robots on Netflix, every episode looks very different. Season 3, which has just come on, which was amazing, by the way. Now you've got a Star Wars. Okay, it's not going to be that heavy and full on as Love, Death and Robots, but you know, you're kind of moving into a field where your animations are going to be very, very, very eclectic. So I'm looking forward to it.
That said, though, that first episode of season 1, which was very sort of Hidden Fortress, that kind of Kurosawa kind of vibe to it, that was something. That was amazing. I loved that.
Yeah.
And if people haven't watched, because it's one of the animations I actually did watch, watch the Filmmaker Focuses, which are kind of hidden away in the details section on Disney Plus as well, which all the directors and creators kind of give you a kind of background into the creative process in each episode. It's very interesting stuff, kind of hidden away there a little bit. So do check that out. There's going to be, I think it's a trade paperback, this comic is going to be coming out. And interestingly, when being interviewed on it, they kind of admitted that Visions was kind of them just putting their toes in the water as to Star Wars anime. So I think we can expect maybe bigger waves and maybe a singular storyline kind of animation program further down the line, because I think they've realised there's a market there.
Yeah,
there's definitely the scope for it, and being on Disney Plus, you know, that gives them loads of options. It's a test bed as well, isn't it? If certain characters go in there or they want to try things out, it's a great place to try things out.
Yeah,
you know, it's a very smart way of doing it.
Yeah. Another program coming to Disney Plus, Ahsoka. We had literally just started filming just before Celebration. So Celebration, the kind of Dave Filoni came away to do a couple of days at Celebration. And at the weekend, we were joined by Rosario Dawson and Natasha Liu Bordizzo. I hope I've said that correctly. I know I haven't. They joined at the weekend, which was kind of cool because right in the middle of filming to come off set to come and do a fan convention, I thought was kind of cool. And although she's been heavily rumoured for a while, this was the first time she got official confirmation that she was in the series. And we also got Chopper come out on stage as well. A redesigned Chopper, I thought, compared to the one that Lucasfilm have used previously, and it kind of looked better, I think. And pretty solid hints that we're going to see more Rebels characters from the footage that not everyone saw, but only the people at the show, because nobody saw it on terrible grainy images on social media. But yeah, Ahsoka coming very soon.
Yeah, can't come soon enough, can it? I think it's such a smart thing working in those Rebels characters, because saying this on Making Tracks the other day, I think if you kind of tie Ahsoka to any other series, obviously you think Clone Wars initially, newer fans coming into Disney Plus will think Mando, but I think a lot of people will think Rebels. She came into Rebels as Mark said on Making Tracks, almost like a Gandalf character. She's that kind of character that crops up across the timeline almost, as like the White Wizard sort of character now, which I think is quite a smart way of playing her. But yeah, to see the Rebels crew, that people are going to pop like crazy if that comes to pass. And of course, it's the live action follow-on to the end of the very, very end of that final scene of the last episode of Rebels. So yeah, I'm really, really.
I would like to see a live action Zeb.
Yeah. yeah.
And who would you get to play live action Zeb?
Good grief.
Carl
voice-wise, voice-wise, you'd stick with Steve Blum, wouldn't you? Because there's no reason to change the voice because it's so perfect. And it feels like it would be a big, either a mega animatronic at some juncture, or full CG from ILM. I don't know, but. Yeah, I would just honour the Macquarie thing, wouldn't it? Because obviously Zeb's race became Chewie, so... Who?
Liam Neeson is back for TV.
Got some very special qualities. I think the interesting thing that Martin sort of alluded to is the fact that Grogu was like one of the highlights of that panel. So the tantalising prospect of seeing the crew of the Ghost with Grogu, that's going to blow some people's minds. Some of the people that are massive Rebels fans, to see Grogu alongside their favourite characters is going to be something pretty special. So, that's a possibility.
But don't you think, because in stepping back to Book of Boba Fett, you saw the Order 66 moment through Grogu's eyes, essentially. Now they've seeded him back in that era. Anything after that, if they want him, because he's kind of got this amnesia thing going on, he's forgotten a lot and so on. So... because he doesn't remember everything, or certainly hasn't yet, until Christopher Lloyd voices him in season 3. Great Scott, until that happens, then he can meet anyone, he can interact with anyone, they can have him in the background of a shot, Yeah. Drop him into the special edition of the Cantina. He can do anything.
Alternate shots, No, that is interesting to think that Grogu has actually been there throughout, everything that we've seen on screen. So I'd love to see him turn up on Bespin. Yeah, why not?
And the last major TV
Tiny
announcement...
little carbonite blocks. Sorry.
The last major TV announcement coming out of Celebration was the Bad Batch. Season 2 got a trailer. I don't know if David Collins is still in the room, but I'm pretty sure he'll be working on season 2 right now. So let's throw the trailer up on the screen whilst we talk about this. Bad Batch did incredibly well. Got huge fan reaction for season 1. People have been excited to just hear something about season 2 because the news has been slim and coming. So I think people are delighted to get the season 2 trailer. You guys both fans of the show, so what did you think?
Yeah,
Go on, Paul.
I'm a big fan of this show. Probably more than Rebels and Clone Wars. There was just something about this that it felt. Every episode was worthy of being there. Sometimes with Clone Wars, you'd get something that felt a bit of a filler, and also that was the case occasionally with Rebels. But with this, the whole arc of losing, which is the character that goes a bit rogue.
Crosshair.
Yeah, Crosshair. Yeah. So Willie, won't he rejoin them? That'll be told in this story. But one of the most beautiful things was when they destroyed the cloning facility on Kamino. That was incredible how they showed that, and tying it in quite heavily with Attack of the Clones. Yeah. There was the Nexu in there, and there was all sorts of other sort of tiebacks to Attack of the Clones, which has been, quite often, it's down at the bottom of most people's lists of favourite Star Wars films. I've always had a soft spot for Attack of the Clones, so it was nice to see that getting a little bit of love, shall we say.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this. I thought season 1 was fantastic, and like Paul says, love Rebels, love Clone Wars, really, really got into Bad Batch. I just connected with the characters straight away, and I still can't believe that one guy does all those voices and can just flick, flick, flick from one to the other. It's just fantastic. I felt like Aretha Franklin there. It was just brilliant. And the way that he does it, the music's fantastic. Kevin Kiner's music's fantastic. We interviewed him on, I think, Making Tracks a few, about this time last year, I guess, maybe, when Bad Batch first came out. The animation just looks supreme. The lighting, just everything about it. It just felt so... wow. Coming off the back of Clone Wars Season 7, which was epic, and I know they played the final 4 episodes at Celebration, didn't they? Just running off the back of that and sort of blending into the back end of that timeline and the end of Revenge of the Sith and all of that import that you get coming out of Order 66 into the Dark Times and the Purge, which we've seen the after effects of in Kenobi, of course. Just the way it was played was brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Bad Batch and reviewing it again. It was a joy to review it on Fantha, so get the team together for that as well.
Martin Keeler mentioned in the comments that they did the live reading and so on, seeing them actually doing the voices live, and that was incredible. So I'm guessing that was one of the highlights for Martin Celebration. For you guys, did you have a highlight for Celebration?
Oh, yes.
Go on.
Mine definitely was the Mandalorian experience. So they brought basically the majority of the props from the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. They said in the Lucasfilm panel, we brought a few things over that you might want to see. A few things, basically everything. And it was like you couldn't even. I'm going all goosebumpy now thinking about it. It was like the best museum I've ever been to. It was amazing. And these were all screen used. These weren't sort of like, these were the actual things that we used to create the programs. So it was amazing to see them.
It was. I mean, you made a great point, Paul, in that everything was contemporary. Pretty much everything you see in there is essentially new. But obviously Tuscans are old and Banthas are old, and so it's lovingly throwing back to old stuff. But even the stuff that was brand new all felt like it fit. The N1 is sitting in the middle of that, and a few years ago you'd laugh at companies that stick an N1 with a stormtrooper next to it. Now you literally get a show with an N1 and the stormtrooper next to it. You know what I mean? It's all working so beautifully and felt very, very right, very correct. It was.
Now, I'd got to go and see that a little bit earlier in the day than you had, Mark. And when we came out of it, and in fact, Matt was in there for probably 2 hours longer.
2.5 hours, yeah.
He moved in, didn't he? But I came out there, and everybody was saying to you, Mark, if you do nothing else, you've got to go and see this. And eventually, you and I went in there. And to see your face, you were like a 7-year-old, just lit up. It was brilliant. But you're right. The fact that it is so new and so now, it's unlike going along to some sort of Star Wars exhibit now and seeing the C-3PO costume that Anthony Daniels wore. This is stuff that is now. And it just felt such a privilege to be able to get in there and see it and get so close to it. And that animatronic Bantha was something else, wasn't it?
Samantha the Bantha. Yeah.
Samantha the Bantha.
And it was that Grogu waving at me. They were the two moments. They were the two moments. But it was genius because, like you say, this is stuff we've just seen on television. And so the emotional connection you would think isn't there yet because you feel like you've got to live with these things. But because they've done such a smart job of design-wise respecting the past and literally going back to things we know and putting a tweak on it, like the Tusken Raider tribe from Book of Boba Fett, for example, just putting them in the black outfits instead of the beige outfits and just little tweaks and twists, adding a bit more of that Attack of the Clones style of that tribe of banter for Tuscans together. So you're really seeing 3 different tribes so far. Just little touches like that was so clever. Really great.
Very well done. How they kept that secret.
Cheap pop. I'm drinking Grolsch tonight, if you can see that. So this is a swig of Grolsch to whoever had come up with the idea of putting that together, because it was brilliant. Needs to be a travelling exhibit.
Now we can't monetize this video because you've advertised alcohol. See, you did. We had minutes to go. And you've ruined it.
50p down the drain.
50p down the drain.
I don't think that's his first one tonight either, Brian.
Celebration was odd for me because I'm obviously wasn't there. I'm watching it for the first time since Celebration 2. I've not been there, which was before live streaming even existed. People didn't even know what a stream was back then, other than the obvious.
Being in the queue for too long.
It was odd, because, and especially for this show, they didn't show the main panels, which was incredibly frustrating for those at home.
Yeah.
Which I guess is because they want people to go to the event. But like you guys who were at the event, you don't get to see every panel. That's impossible. So you can't even reflect and see it after the show. So that was disappointing. And even if they put like a pay-per-view wall on it and said, like, guys, you get paid 20 quid, watch it for the 4 days, I would have been happy paying that. Put it on Disney Plus, make it subscribers only, something like that.
Actually, that's a really good idea, Brian. Genuinely, putting it on Disney Plus is a really good idea because
I think in 2022, putting out trailers and behind-the-scenes footage and not making it available to the masses, not the best way to handle a franchise. I don't think it
not when you've got parks.
It creates tiers of fans because not all fans can afford to travel the world to go to a celebration, and everyone's different age groups. So the younger fans, can't go unless they can convince their parents to go. And how many of us could convince our parents to go to a 4-day Star Wars event? So that was a disappointing part. I thought in terms of Celebration Live, it's not my cup of tea because I'm not into this sugar-coated American style of presenting, but I thought they did a great job and great content. And I particularly liked the stuff they did on the show floor, going out and meeting the vendors and so on. I thought that was really good and interesting. So I enjoyed that. Plus, there was with it being live, there was a few faux pas, which I kind of like.
You always like. This is why this show's a live show and not recorded, because Brian loves it when things go wrong.
If you're going to get someone to talk on a live stream about jizz music, then it's always going to end up brilliant. That's all I can say.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, another highlight for me, which was slightly outside of Celebration, was we got to go to the Disney After Dark event, which was the big Star Wars thing, and that was another highlight for me.
Always sounds sinister to me. Disney After Dark.
But no, that was that will live long in the memory banks. That one, that was great.
Final thoughts on the future Star Wars? Is it looking rosy?
Yeah, a whole lot of rosy, as a great Australian Scottish band once said. I think there's so much stuff coming. Just from what was announced at this celebration. A show that I said on Making Tracks rarely makes announcements, that completely shot me out the water. The amount of stuff they announced at this one was insane. So that will keep us busy for the next sort of 18 months. But we've got Celebration in Europe coming up in less than 10 months. So goodness knows what they're going to announce at that. I think we're talking about that on Making Tracks next week. So tune in if you've got the time. But it was a good celebration. We've had a break. I didn't hear of any dramas. Certainly no dramas on the podcast stage. That all went well. So yay for me. But I know, kind of. But generally I think it went well, and people seemed pretty buzzed about it. It was a good vibe on socials as well, which is always nice. There is a nice sort of kickback from that. It lasts about a day, but soak it up while you can. That's social media for you. But no, it was good, I would say.
Yeah, I think it was a good experience. Probably my favourite celebration to date. Got to do a lot of great stuff, and like you said at the start, Mark, more than anything else, it was about reconnecting with people that we haven't seen for at least 3 years. The likes of Big Kev and Dan and all the other people that we haven't seen from the States for a long time.
You were up on stage with Coffee with Kenobi, so that was a cool.
I was, yeah. Even though I got a bit choked up because of what I was talking about, but still, there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, no, it was just really good to sort of be back full on with the Star Wars community, and it is a community, and I think the stuff that's coming up, there's something there for everybody. I'm hoping that Ahsoka does live up to what I think it's going to be, where it's basically going to be Rebels live action, with Grogu thrown in and perhaps a bit of Mando just for fun. There's plenty to look forward to. I do think that we won't see anything on the big screen until 2024. But the big thing that we've got to look forward to next, obviously, is London.
Yeah.
We get to do
that
this
was
all
literally
again.
going to be my next question. Excited to see it back in the UK, which is still part of Europe.
Yeah,
they've not towed us away yet. The yellow clamp is on, but they're not towed us away yet.
Shifted.
No. It's going to be awesome. It's Celebration Europe. It's always a good one, Celebration Europe. You know, we've got a slightly different vibe and a slightly different. It's our home turf, which is always nice. So we know a lot of the faces, and there's a sense of pride in that sense of doing something at home, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be. It's a 4-day Celebration Europe, which hasn't happened before. It's always been 3 days before, so we've got 4 days. So yeah, I mean, we need to get jiggy, as Will Smith once said. But because time will be on us before we know it. And that goes for everyone. Can't believe I just mentioned Will Smith. That goes for everyone. So, yeah, I think it's going to be good. And lots to do, lots to see and do.
Yeah, Mr. Keeler mentioned that podcast stage was clothing optional this year, which, to be fair, when I'm watching the show at home, that is an option. So that's something I'll miss about London.
It's entirely optional. And we will let you in. Whether they let you stay is another thing, but yeah.
I'm looking forward most of all of seeing the Rancor Keepers live.
The Rancor Keepers.
You're
the new Stavros Flatley. Yeah.
What an act. The new Stavros Flatley. Yeah, we're more like Juros Fatley.
I think on that note, it's time to wrap up. So, guys, thank you for joining me this week. We'll be back Thursday evening for a Kenobi recap, episode 5. And then we'll be back again next Sunday for a weekly news recap, see what happens in this coming week in the Star Wars galaxy. Guys, appreciate you joining me.
Cheers.
Always fun.
See you, mate.
See ya.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on FanthaTracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at FanthaTracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow FanthaTracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.